welcome back to another video. Today we're in Paradise. We're at Jolly's in Dandenong. It is time to start putting the motor together. Because my AU was in an accident, a lot of the parts on the front of the engine got completely destroyed. So we need an alternator, we need a power steering pump, we need a drive belt tensioner. We'll see what we need. We'll go find an AU and we'll see what we need. So we've come across our first AU. It's missing the cap from the power steering pump, which doesn't fill me with much confidence, because the last thing I want is to get it, pay for it, and it be so. Oh, and the tensioner seized as well. Moving on. This one looks mint. It's got its own drive shaft holding the bonnet open. Why are they all missing the caps from the power steering pump? It's missing the cap as well. So we've come across the Series 1. I don't know if they're the same or not. From first glance, it looks the same. You guys are probably going to be screaming at me in the comments saying, yeah, they're the same. But I don't know. I don't want to take my chances. Because if I'm going through this amount of effort trying to take this apart, then I may as well get a Series 3. Because that's what I have. That's the motor I have in mind. And also this doesn't sound the best. Let's find a Series 3. So we've just come across this FGU. Can someone please explain to me how this happens? This is a B series Barra sitting backwards in an FG. Someone explain that to me, please. Like, surely someone wouldn't go to the effort of pulling a motor and putting in another car backwards. Fair enough. Alright, so this is the discovery we made. We've been here for about half an hour. We've walked around to almost every single AU, and unsurprisingly, every single AU is leaking just as bad, if not worse, than mine was. So which means, if you guys can see this, every single alternator looks like that, and all the tensioners, all the bearings in them are fucked. And every single power steering pump is missing the cap, like no joke.
Every single one has been tampered with.
Yep.
After an unsuccessful wrecker's mish, Peter and I decided that we needed to go on a little bit of a side quest to get the parts that are needed. But you'll see that a little bit later in the video.
So we're back in the garage now. I have some genuine, brand new Ford Motorcraft engine mounts right here. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to mock up the motor in the engine bay for the very first time.
As I started putting the engine mount brackets on, I sort of noticed that they didn't quite look right on an AU motor, quite a lot further back than they should have been. I started to get suspicions that I may have chucked out my AU engine mount brackets and accidentally kept my EF ones. And when I finished putting them both on, my suspicions were confirmed. So to give you guys a little bit better of a visual representation of what's going on, I ended up with one AU coil pack mount and one EF coil pack engine mount bracket. So that was my mistake. I accidentally threw out one of the ones that I needed, and believe me, it was almost impossible to find. Luckily, one of my mates was wrecking an AU motor and he managed to get me one. That was an absolute round.
Nathan, do you want to tell them about your broing ritual?
So this motor is just constant problems, I've noticed. We're about to drop the motor in. Just put the mounts on for the engine crane. And then this one decided that it liked having a strip thread. So what we have here is, this is an AU mount. And if you notice, there are some subtle differences. So what I accidentally did is I threw the AU ones out and kept the EF ones. Brand new, genuine Ford engine mounts, kindly supplied by RexH, so thank you very much to him. We're going to whack him in, grab the engine crane, drop the motor in, and see how it looks in there. There we go. Beautiful. One engine mount. Peter and I went on a little bit of a side quest. Aside from the Maccas, we decided that there weren't enough Intecs in our lives. We went ahead and bought another one, and I had a little bit of a dilemma, as you guys saw early in the video. I couldn't find any AU engine mount brackets. So what did we do? We bought another Intec, and this Intec was a whole $150. I couldn't resist, and I'm going to use some parts off it. So here it is in all its glory. So we made a deal. Since Peter drove us here, he gets to keep the bottom end for his one because his car dropped a cylinder, and then I'm going to keep the power steering pump, the alternator, the tensioner, and whatever other bolts I need, because I haven't touched the motor in 6 months. I'm bound to need some bolts. Welcome home to our new Intec. So here is that motor that Peter and I picked up yesterday. Apparently this is a low kilometer Series 2 Intech, approximately 160,000 Ks, which is good for Peter because he can use the bottom end. What I need it for are the accessories and various other bolts. So this has a power steering pump, it's got a belt tensioner, it's got an alternator, it's got the crank angle sensor as well, which I lost. Also, I don't remember how all the accessories go together on an Intech, so my plan was I'm going to put the two engines side by side and literally just swap over parts. My Intech is moments away from being dropped in. First step is to drop it in, and then I'm going to assemble everything. Well, I can't believe it, guys. There is an Intech sitting in the EF XR6's engine bay for the first time. In almost 1 year, I took it off the road. I took this thing off the road approximately in February this year. And now it's got an engine in it again. Look at it. Just look at it. It's obviously sitting a little bit crooked because there's no transmission attached to it, so the engine is just tilting forward, but the mounts are in very loosely. I've just threaded in the bolts that hold it to the subframe itself, so I can't fall out. I'm pretty proud of myself right now. Not gonna lie, did that all by myself. I only nicked one spot right here and I'm very annoyed about it, but Intech. So happy the engine's finally in. It's been a long time coming. I'm very excited for what's to come. In the next video, we'll be bolting up all the accessories. We might even start on the wiring harness as well for the Haltech. I've just realized that because I have no radiator and no front bumper on this thing, I don't even need to take the engine out again to put all the accessories on, because there's a very convenient access hole right there. Heaps and heaps of room because everything is out of the engine bay. Because I have all the brake lines and stuff removed, I might need to pull it out once more. For the most part, it's in there. I know that it fits, it all lines up, and I'm super happy. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.